All right, so we're diving deep today into all the big takeaways from the recent conference day. The one all about leadership and science education. So
Mm.
whether you're actually there with us or just couldn't make it work this time, we've sifted through all the key ideas and discussions and ready to unpack what they actually mean for leaders like you.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of you reached out sharing what really stood out to you from different sessions. So we're going to try and connect those dots. What does it all mean for leading in science education right now?
Exactly. And I mean, we covered a huge amount of ground, right? From using data in the classroom and integrating computer science, the urgent need to address climate change, not to mention the power of high quality materials and how to keep our science spaces safe. So yeah, consider this your leadership debrief.
That's a great way to put it, like a focused look at what emerged, the themes and connections, especially for leadership, and how we support teacher growth in science.
Perfect. So let's jump right in. And for me, honestly, one of the biggest takeaways was all the energy around data literacy. Like Kristen Hunter Thompson's session, bridging great bands to build skills, transforming data literacy science teaching and learning K-12. Um, it made me think, a lot of us leaders, we're okay with data ourselves,
Mm.
right? We can read a chart, analyze some numbers,
Right.
but helping our teachers develop that skill in their students,
Mm.
that's a whole other challenge. And she was really convincing, saying data literacy is just as fundamental in this century as reading and writing were, back in the day.
Absolutely. And I think the way she defined it is really helpful for us as leaders to keep in mind. It's not just about crunching numbers. Data literacy is about the whole process, right? Being able to collect the data, organize it, visualize it, analyze, interpret, and then share that information effectively with others.
Yeah, communication is key.
It is. And so for you as a leader, this means thinking about professional development, right? Are we actually giving our teachers the tools to teach these skills, these data skills, to their students? It's not enough for them to just understand it themselves. They have to be able to teach it.
Absolutely. It's about that transfer of knowledge. That's really important. And then sticking with data, there was another session, enhancing pedagogical practices through data-driven instruction, led by Eric Rhodes
Mhm.
and Padu Seyshire. And they really dove into this close connection between math and science, all through this lens of data science.
Yeah, that was fascinating.
Yeah, and they made this point that data literacy, communication, collaboration, they're not just like nice to have skills anymore.
Yeah.
They're absolutely essential for any career you can think of in the future.
It's about preparing students for that 21st century workforce. And one of the things that really stood out for me from their session was that activity they did, the See, Think, Wonder activity. Using that historical map, John Snow's map of cholera cases in London from like 1850.
Mhm.
It was really powerful to see. First, you see these clusters of illness on the map, right? And then they bring out another map. This time it shows the locations of water pumps. And suddenly the data tells this incredible story. You
Right.
can actually see the connection between the contaminated water and the spread of the disease. And it's like, boom, the miasma theory, that whole idea that bad air caused illness, it falls apart when you look at the data.
Yeah, that's a really powerful example of how data can, debunk old theories and really change our understanding. And for leaders, I think that activity really shows how important it is to help our students develop those skills to argue from evidence, right?
Absolutely. It's about showing them that data can tell a story, and that story can be incredibly powerful. And a well-chosen activity, like that one with the maps, it can make abstract concepts, even complex data, much more concrete and accessible for students.
Yeah, it was such a vivid example. And, they also mentioned this video, Ben Jones's 17 key traits of data literacy. I haven't seen it yet, but I wrote it down. I think that's something that could be really useful for professional development, for,
Yeah.
sharing with our teams.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. And then I love their analogy with the Legos. They were talking about how, you start with this big pile of Legos, right? Which
Hmm.
represents raw data. And then through sorting, arranging, building, and then explaining, telling the story of what you built, those Legos, that data, it becomes something useful, something actionable. It's such a simple way to think about a complex process.
I love that. And it really gets to the heart of what we need to be doing as leaders. Are we providing opportunities for our students to not just manipulate data, but to really construct meaning from it, to build something with it, to tell a story with it? That's where the real learning happens.
Absolutely. And speaking of meaningful learning, Rhodes and Session